I'm Rich Walls. I'm a medical base supervisor, flight paramedic at Native 8 in Lake Havasu City, Arizona. This is November 257 Alpha Mike. It's a brand new 2011 ASB 350 Plus, also known as an A-Star. Took delivery on it last night. It is yet to do a patient flight. Generally speaking, the paramedic or nurse will sit right here. Our gurney will come out when we load and unload patients. This piece right here slides out. We can either put it on a bed or a backboard from the fire department to load it up. Once we get in, we have helmets so we can communicate with each other because of the loud noise associated with flying. We can do basically everything that can be done in an intensive care unit inside the helicopter. We have the same medications, same drips. We can maintain life support through a ventilator, complete cardiac care through our monitor. We were purchased in August of 2011 by Air Methods Corporation. It has been a great transition. Obviously, we're getting new equipment. Training has been wonderful. It's been good for all of us. Generally flying, we have a pilot, nurse, and paramedic. And seats are interchangeable except for the pilot seat. They don't let us drive. But this helicopter can go round trip to Las Vegas on one tank of fuel, so it's got significant range. It's got dual hydraulics, which is nice, and adds increased power, and it's a nice safety feature. In the back of the pilot seat, we keep a lot of our small airway devices like nasal cannulas or oxygen masks. We have bandages, keep gloves back there, keep our heart monitor here. Back up here we have IV supplies, the more in-depth airway equipment like the bag valve mask that we have to breathe for a patient. We store IV kits underneath the seats. These are our drug bags. This is the money of the operation. It's what lets the nurse and the paramedic do what we're trained to do. Our heart monitor, with this thing, we can basically pace a person's heart. So if it's not pumping adequately, we can use an electricity pump for them. If somebody's in cardiac arrest, we can shock or defibrillate the heart. We can do a 12-lead EKG to take basically 12 different views of the heart and see if they're having a cardiac event. The ventilator is equivalent to anything that would be in any ICU in America. We can breathe for patients. We can provide what's called BiPAP or CPAP, which is positive pressure ventilation. It saved a lot of people from having to be intubated. It's a nice tool. And with this aircraft, which is new, we have liquid oxygen, which means that we can provide BiPAP or CPAP all the way up to Las Vegas without having to run out.
Any priority calls?
In the back, actually in our trauma bag right here, that's a lot of the things we'd use in a scene flight. We have a lot of splints, another IV kit, bandages, dressings. We have an airway kit right there for intubation, which is putting a tube into someone's throat to breathe for them if they're not doing it adequately. Which has happened in the aircraft. It gets kind of cramped, but we can make it work. It's basically everything we would need, everything that you'd have in a standard ambulance. We just condense it quite a bit. We have IV pumps for drip medications, for medications that have to be in a specific dose and minute amounts. We can actually run up to 6 drips at one time, which is actually quite impressive compared to a lot of flight programs. Satellite phone for the remote areas so we can be in contact with either our comm center, fire departments, or hospitals at all times. We have a brand new GPS system, which is the top of the line. I don't know too terribly much about it. It's more the pilot's department, but he's quite impressed. And yeah, it's a wonderful aircraft. We're thrilled to have it.
So here we keep extra supplies, pediatric board, leg splints. This is called a PD mate. It's for transporting pediatrics that don't necessarily need to be on a backboard, but it's an improved safety strap for smaller kids instead of having just full adult-sized seat belts. This actually secures to the adult seat belts, and then it has smaller straps for kid-sized people. And then we also keep a temporary pacemaker for someone that's had an actual pacemaker threaded into their arterial system. They've actually had the pacemaker inserted. We can actually run a brand new inserted pacemaker with that machine. going into a hospital that we need extra, we've got a bag of different stuff. We have our emergency locator transponder, that little orange thing right there. That's the locator device if we should ever go down in an emergency or a crash. That is set off by the impact and actually activates an emergency signal that is transmitted over the air that people can track and triangulate our position of flights with. Cool. Anything like that, or in the unfortunate event of a crash, if someone's alive, they can actually pull that and activate it. It shuts off all fuel of the aircraft.
Oh, okay. So the yellow one is the rotor brake. Okay.
And the red one is fuel cutoff.
Okay, and then behind that, what do we got?
That's the engine start and run button, kind of like on a motorcycle. You know, you flip the on switch basically. That's part of how you have it to run. Shutting it off shuts off all the electrical power. And then that's a new one. I don't know what it is. Some kind of a test button. I don't know what it tests. It's new in this aircraft. Yeah. I didn't know that one.
You have light.
Yeah, we have different. All the lights are NVG compatible. They're all filtered or green LEDs, so that it doesn't affect night vision while you're using night vision goggles.
Okay, cool. Wow, interesting fact.
All the glass displays are filtered for that, and then the smaller displays that aren't filtered have NVG lighting. Those little tubes on the top.
Oh, okay, up there.
Really?
Basically, if we're on a scene or transporting back and forth, here we have an oxygen tank on our gurney that we take out of here, but we'll go to other hospitals where they won't necessarily have that. We have a portable oxygen tank we can get the patient out of the ER, out to the aircraft.
Gotcha. And then these are the the IV drops he's talking about?
These are IV pumps.
Right here and lay down.
This one's broken.
And then the paramedic.
Both of these have channel A's. Right now we're down to 4. Apparently we can do 4 pumps. Normally we can do 6. Like if we're doing nitroglycerin or I'm trying to think of drugs you might have heard of. I mean, sedatives, nitro pressors that actually increase people's blood pressure. All those types of drugs have to be very tightly controlled. So these are capable of going down to micrograms per minute and doing all those calculations.
Wow, that's pretty high tech.
Yeah, and in such a small compact package. Most IV pumps that you see in the ICUs or ERs, they're huge and they only do one thing at a time, but they're this big. So to have 3 different ones in that little tiny compact package is phenomenal. The downside is that company actually has stopped making those, so it's going to become more and more difficult over the years to get parts and get them repaired. And no one's come out with a new transport pump, so it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah.
Luckily, there's tens of thousands of them out there right now, so there's still a lot of aftermarket support for them.
That's good.
Military uses them. Most flight companies have gone to using those. So.
Yeah, I can see how that could be vital.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You got 3 different strap locks. And then this opens up. This is pilot paperwork. Extra headset. This is the new liquid oxygen system that he was talking about. It gives us a lot more capacity of oxygen in a very, very small tank. Normally we'd carry tanks that would fill up this entire area and could only give us barely enough oxygen to get to Vegas, and we'd have to come back and refill it before we could take another patient. Now we can do 2 or 3 patient flights using a large amount of oxygen before we'd ever have to worry about refilling it.
Wow.
Different engine covers. You have the transmissions directly underneath the rotor head, and then the engine sits back behind here. We're not supposed to open those up unless the pilot and mechanics here. So,
okay.
But they have a dual latching system. If you get close, you can see they latch underneath here with metal, and then they have a protective cover over that latches also like that.
Oh, okay.
So you have to make sure that both are latched to make sure you're not going to have to worry about one of the cowlings opening up in flight.
That would not be good.
It'd be bad. Oh, that's nice.
So it sounds like the air medics coming, that transition, how long ago did that happen?
Air methods?
Yeah.
August 1st was the official